He's just had Brady dick in his mouth, swishing around, and now that he's won, it's.
Hey, we're back. Oh my god! This guy did not tell me he was doing that.
Hey, so we're here. How's it going, guys?
Yo, what was that?
It's called that Slurpee. I haven't had a Slurpee in a minute, dog.
Yo, you're vile.
I got that syrup coming out.
You're vile. Wow.
Hey,
Fuck.
can't stop the process. Once it starts, it can't stop.
Holy.
Oh.
Well, we're back.
Yeah, welcome back, everybody. Coming in hot.
So,
Okay,
that totally threw me off. Like, I was ready to go, and now I'm just like, what are we even talking about today? You have a story you want to talk about?
We'll start it off with the quick respect, the GOAT of GOATs, Tom Brady, number 7.
Who the fuck did I tell you to bet against? Never Tom Brady. Let's go.
I give all the credit. You were correct. I went all KC. I've never seen anybody do what just happened to Kansas City before. I've never seen that before. So Tom Brady, number 7, winningest team, franchise player in football history.
We'll talk more about football at the end,
yeah.
But I'm going to leave it on just, going into halftime. I think I made a Facebook status. Everyone just needs to take a moment of silence and learn some goddamn respect and just learn to appreciate the greatness in front of you, because there's never been an athlete as dominant as Tom Brady. Learn some respect. Shut your goddamn mouth. No one tell me he's washed up. I don't want to hear it. Oh. I don't.
No washed up goats. No washed up goats.
Quick shout out to Aaron motherfucking Donald, Defensive Player of the Year. Also a fucking beast. But anyways, Kyle, you had a life this week.
And just a quick one is that if you look at his Facebook memories from about 5-6 years ago, it's a lot of slander on Tom Brady's name. So he's grown up.
I learn respect. You can learn respect.
Oh man, but that Super Bowl. So I went out, created an event on Facebook, Zoom party for the Super Bowl because we can't all get together. I got a good 7-8 invites. Got 0 responses on anything.
Shout out to the boys.
I had one of the boys like, "Oh no, let's not do it on Zoom. Let's do it on Discord." So I set up a Discord. He doesn't even fucking join us. I'm sitting there. I'm sitting there at 3:30. Like, okay, the only guy I know that is going to be watching it with me is working, so I'm not even logging into this anymore.
I basically got home like midway through the second quarter. That was hilarious.
The first person to call. Whatever, fuck y'all. I had fun time myself.
Party on one.
Brittany went all out for me, like the goddess she is. She went. Bought some fresh chicken wings.
Hey.
Made a chili garlic rub to go in on them. Delicious. Then cut up the potato skins. Got the cheese on top. Got all the bacon nice and crispy on top. Baked it.
Made way too much food for you. Couldn't eat it all.
No. I ate all that bitch. I ate it all. Including the appetizer. I had 1 or 2 beverages. 1 or 2. But the appetizer was... her signature 4-layer taco dip. Fire. It gets rid of all the bullshit from the 7-layer. Like, fuck the olives. Like, get that shit out of here. We don't need guac on top of all of it. Just need our basics. We need the basics, and that's what we get. So, Brittany went all out. I had my Super Bowl party of 1. I think I drank good 8 beers. Stayed sober because the 2 kids don't let me sit down.
Hey.
I'm sitting there playing anyway, so I don't even know if I really drank. All I did was get a headache. That's all that came out of it. Well, man.
Yo, bless.
Just think about it. Have I ever told you the story of how I asked Brittany to marry me?
I don't recall it, but to be honest, I got a bad memory, so go ahead.
Okay, so this might create another bad memory, but everybody buckle in, because this is a wild ride. So, the Friday, so it's our 5-year anniversary. This is the one that in the past episode I told you guys about that I didn't say anything to her on the day of. So that was a good start. Didn't know it at the time. But on the Friday, I was at work and I was telling all the guys, hey, I got all these plans. We're going out to this Black and Blue Steakhouse. I legit went on Google and typed in steakhouses in Vancouver. And then I looked at all the menus. And the first steakhouse that had the $50 steak was the cheapest one. That's the one I went to.
Okay.
So I was balling at the minute. And I was like, we're going all out. Get that. Get the hotel at Cascades Casino.
Okay.
We were going all out. So I tell all the guys this, and then they're like, so you're proposing? I'm like, what are you talking about? Where did that come from? They're like,
so you were planning this, and the proposal wasn't in the plan?
Yes. And now you know, Britt. Exposed myself real early on this one. No. Exposed myself real early. So, and they're saying this, and I'm like, what do you mean? They're like, you're doing all of this. This is your 5-year anniversary. She's gonna expect a ring, and I'm like, nah, you guys are tripping. Then the end of the day comes, and I'm like, no, she's gonna expect a ring, and like, I'm like. We've talked about getting married. She's like, well, as long as we get married before I'm 25, we're good. I had like 2 years to go. But I was like, okay, no, I'm doing it today. Went out. About 36 minutes later, I bought the ring. That was how quick I decided. I was like, I knew I wanted to marry her, but I just didn't know it was going to be that moment.
Do you know what I give you respect on? I give you respect on recognizing the moment and pulling the trigger without hesitation.
Yeah, no, there's no hesitation.
Pull the trigger.
I didn't, because that was the other thing I was thinking. I'm like, if I'm even having this discussion right now, that means that I either want to get married to her or I don't. I knew I wanted to, so I was like, hey, well, we're fucking doing it now. Didn't realize how fucking expensive rings were, especially when you don't budget for it. So I get there and...
This guy's like 5 minutes ago was saying, I was nice at the time. And then literally after this moment, I'm not nice anymore. We need the cheap steak.
I was nice. I was nice. But, like, that's a lot of niceness. But I get there and the lady's like, oh, well, this is like a nice one, blah, blah, blah. And I look at the price tag. I'm like, okay, like, I don't know about this. And she's like, well, that's the sale price. I'm like, that's the sale price? That's the same price as all the other ones. And then she showed me the real price. I'm like, I guess I'm getting that. She's like, okay, well, how are you paying? I'm like, I'm getting a credit card from you guys. I got a down payment, but I ain't paying this bitch off. You got a 25-year mortgage? Like,
oh my God.
So I took a little bit of money out. That's fully paid off, so no repo coming for that ring anytime soon. But, so that day, because at the time I was working with Paul still, and so he was kind of giving me the idea as well. So I get home, he's obviously the neighbor. I rush over there right away, and I'm like, yo, I'm doing this tomorrow, but I need to hide the ring at your house, because I can't bring that in there. She'll sniff it out. Women just know. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to hide it here. So that night, we went to the movies, and then around midnight, went to a different friend's house for a party, but I was heart beating, everything ready for the next day, so I had a drink when I got there, and then didn't drink anymore. So about 3:30 in the morning, we drive home. So right by my house is a roundabout, and there's always accidents, there's always tomfoolery with people there. So we get there, and there's caution lights, tow truck lights. I'm like, fuck. So I'm like, fuck, I can't take this roundabout. Good? Like, I think I'm dying. I might be gone. I got that acid reflux coming out real bad.
You think I'd be the gross one, but you're disgusting.
No, you just happen to be gross as well. I'm drinking Slurpees. But I digress. Right now. So I take, there's a little side road that leads to a road like a minute away. I quickly bust down that, start going. Cherries go on behind me. I'm like, what the fuck? Pulls me over, he's like, well, you just avoided a roadblock. I'm like, okay, fair enough. I didn't realize it was a roadblock. He's like, so I gotta give you a breathalyzer. So at the time, I had my N. That means zeros. Had to blow on that bitch. I blew at 0.008, which is not zero. He said it was the equivalent to drinking half a beer 2 hours prior. I was like, so what does that mean? He's like, well, your driver's license is suspended for a day, and in 2 weeks you'll get your charges on what it's going to be. So I'm about to go home and then go talk to Brittany's dad just to be like, hey, just so you know, I'm planning on doing this tomorrow. Instead, I'm calling Brittany's dad, hey, can you walk down the hill? I just got a DUI and I need my car back to the house. So that was a good start.
Kyle.
Saturday morning of, we get in the car, which I can't drive to the steakhouse, so she doesn't know where we're going.
Hey, Brad, I'm a little tired. Can you drive us to this date that I set us up for?
Honestly, but like she was in the car with me, so she was there for all of it. But so then we get to the car, and I'm like, okay, real quick, I gotta run over to Paul's. I left something there. Go over there. Nobody's home. Paul didn't tell me that he wasn't going to be home in the morning when I had told him I needed it the next day. So I call him. Oh, no, I'm in Hope. Call Kim. So I call Kim, and she's like, oh, well, I'm in Agassiz at work. You can come get the keys from me. No, I can't. I have a 24-hour suspension. Hey, Britt, I need you to go to Agassiz and pick up keys. I know we were supposed to leave half an hour ago, but I just need to get something.
I need to drive to another town to go get the keys to come back to this town.
So, just to say she's a little bit upset at this point, because it seems like I'm really fumbling the bag on the 5-year anniversary since I didn't say shit to her 3 days prior on the actual day. So we finally go. I'm all dressed to the nines, but I got this big-ass jacket on me.
You better look nice, because you're acting like a fool right now.
This is the thing. I got my big-ass nice jacket, because it was supposed to rain. Didn't rain. The ring was in that pocket. I had to walk around in fucking, 20-degree weather with this giant jacket on, sweating my balls off, while Brittany makes fun of me all day. Like, why are you doing this? Put your jacket away. You look like a fool. Like, no, it's just, I'm a little bit chilly. Like, I gotta keep it on. I'm pretty small. I kind of get cold. Fuck,
you look so stupid.
It's just so sad. Oh, it's so bad. And then, so we finally get to the steakhouse. And, originally, the plan was I was going to get, a bottle of champagne, put it in the glass, whatever. But now I'm like, well, I can't do that because I'm going to feel scared that if I have that sip, I'm going to get pulled over and now I'm going to lose my license again. I can't do that 2 days in a row. I can't do it. So, no alcohol, no nothing. And I go down on one knee, ask her, and she's, really?
She wasn't ready for it at all.
She had no idea. She's like, I thought you got me a braid, bead for my bracelet. I'm like, I just dropped a car on you. What? And I'm like, okay, well, anyway, will we say yes now? Because she just said, really? And I'm like, yeah, really. Really. I'm just saying fake. Yes. She finally said yes. But then it was just the funny view that I had was there was this girl probably 5 feet away from us sitting in the chair. We're at this, like I said, this is a $50 minimum steak. Cost $30 for a plate of potatoes. She's sitting there eating lunch. We did this. She doesn't even look up from her phone. A bunch of people are clapping. She doesn't even look up because she's just that girl.
She doesn't give a fuck.
She doesn't give a fuck. So then, after this it goes good there. Get to the hotel. We go down, gamble a bit, and we come up. And apparently when I booked, I had accidentally booked the wrong suite, and I booked an engagement suite. So at the time that I booked, I didn't know I was proposing. So we get back up to the room.
Say a word if you didn't propose.
There's chocolate-covered strawberries, two glasses with a little bottle of champagne saying congratulations on your engagement. If I didn't propose, I was dead.
Yo!
I was dead. I was like, how does this hotel throw this at me with no word of warning. Like, how do you do this to me?
Planning things.
But it all worked out in the end because she said yes.
And then you're like, I'm nice.
And that's why I can expose this, because you said I do.
It's okay. That's like, I already told the story. I'm not going to repeat it, but the wedding ring thing, everything went fine, so it doesn't matter.
I don't think I've ever planned something that went according to it. I think all the final points all work out, but how we get there is an improvisation.
Improvisation.
Yeah, like I didn't know how to say that word, so I kind of improv'd it.
Fuck's sake, Kyle.
But yeah, that's how we got here. That's how we got married.
Improvised his education too.
Hey,
that's hilarious.
I went through all of school without doing one day of homework, so that'll tell you what you need to know about my education.
The proposal story kind of reminds me of. So this week me and Hope were watching some Netflix, and I pulled up this show because even after I was half an hour into episode 1, and this is a couple days ago. I was half an hour into episode 1. She was hanging out with her sister. And I'm like, man, these people are fucked. And there's one thing that me and her love to do is psychoanalyze people and diagnose them through shows and be like, this person has so many issues in this. They need therapy for we love doing that shit.
Brittany hates that because I'll be like, how the fuck are they doing that? That's so stupid. And I'll start something and she pause it do we need to have an argument or can we watch the fucking show? Do you hate them enough for us to have a bad time?
Okay, but that's not the same.
But yeah, because you guys have the same energy with it. Yeah. No, so I get it.
Yeah, we'll be sitting there and wow, they're so closed off emotionally. They need to, address this issue that's probably related to their father leaving. Blah, blah, blah. We go in on that.
I'm like, that guy looks like a retard. What is he doing? Why would he make such dumbass decisions?
Anyways, so she was hanging with her sister, and I started watching the show. I'm halfway in, and I'm like, oh my god, I have to watch this with her. I can't watch this by myself. I'm losing it.
What is this show?
So it's called Bling Empire. It's a reality. It's a reality show. Anyway,
Bling Empire. I like it. I like the start.
The next time she's free, and I have a day off, we sit down. We basically binge the whole season on Netflix. And so it's a reality show, and basically the premise is there's this dude who's Asian guy that lived in Philadelphia, and he saw the movie Crazy Rich Asians or something. Have you seen that movie?
I heard about it.
It's, the title says it all.
Yeah,
anyway.
I heard about it. I think that's all I needed to do.
I mean, it was an entertaining movie, but anyways, and he's moved to LA because he's a male model, and then he met crazy rich Asians in real life, and these people that are billionaires and whatever, they've got money coming out their ass, whatever. And so you're basically just following these people around and finding, it's a reality show. It's not much different than fucking keeping up with the Kardashians, if you want to be real.
Yeah, Kardashians, Jersey Shore.
They're just Asian, that's their gimmick. They live in LA, they're Asian, there's really nothing different. Anyways, there's this one couple in the show that they, I guess, break cultural norms in their culture by having 2 babies and not being married. And I guess that's really outlandish for them. I don't know, whatever. But
I thought, okay, this might come off sounding bad. I thought Chinese people are only allowed to have one. What, or is that an old rule?
Kyle, I said Asian. I didn't specify Chinese.
Well, I thought you did. Kyle, well, I don't know where they're from.
This is also America, and there's no rules like that.
Then why is it against a cultural norm? But isn't
cultural norms?
No, I know that it's against their culture, but wouldn't that be the same thing? Having more than one kid just in general? I'm honestly just asking because I don't know.
I'm going to go with no.
Okay.
Anyways, I don't think they're even Chinese, to be honest. I think
I've never even met them.
That was just your first guess when I said Asian. Anyways.
Just a top 4.
Just disregard everything that just happened there. Oh, fuck's sake.
Well, I don't know. You gotta be specific.
It's not relevant. Fuck. Anyway.
It's all relevant.
Anyways.
It's all relevant, baby.
So, I guess the guy just, is totally cool with not proposing to her. He's just totally fine with it. He's not cheating on her. He's a great partner. He just has no intention of like marriage. Like he's like,
Splitting
we'll propose eventually, of course, but like he's not doing it anytime soon.
No.
And she's obviously getting fed up. She's like, I've had 2 kids now.
Yeah.
Where the fuck is this ring?
It's been years of dealing with this.
And it's so funny because they showed like clips of like times that she thought she was gonna get engaged, and he's like got the microphone in front of a whole party of friends and family, and he's like got this gift for her, and it's like anniversary, and she opens it and it's a fucking bag, and you just see on her face like he's like, yes, don't you love it?
It's your favorite book.
And it's so fucking cringe. No, eventually there comes a part. Spoilers. Don't care. It's a shit show. You don't need to worry.
I don't even remember what it's called.
You don't have to watch it. Don't worry. She gets fed up and she's like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna propose to him. See what he does. And so there's later on the show, they threw a party. They're up on the stage and she's like, I've got something to say. And he's like, has no idea. And so she starts telling him, the little like build up to it, and he's just like smiling still at the crowd. And then she like asks the question, and he's just like, and you can just see like the look in his face go like, sorry, what?
He's sitting there like, I'm getting a PS5. Like, this is what I would be doing if I was getting a necklace. This is gonna be fucking awesome. Wait, pause, what?
And then, but to his credit though, like that was the funny part for me, but to his credit, he takes a moment, he kind of like looks at the crowd, recomposes his smile, and he's like, of course. He just goes with it. They're nice now, they're engaged. But like, just the whole idea of like, just like expecting the engagement, it just never comes. It just, the whole thing is just like, man, that's a lot. Now don't quote me on this at all, because I honestly, someone could have told me this. I never fact checked it at all.
What? But, it's only facts on this.
Yeah,
we only talk facts.
Only talk facts. What? I heard that in some like Spanish countries, like if you're with somebody for 4 years and you don't propose to them or get married, that the woman can like sue you for like wasting her reproductive years. That's savage.
It's fair.
I mean, it is like, fair. Like, if you want to be real, it probably is really fair.
And it's fucking expensive for them to, like, freeze their eggs and shit. So, like, if they start getting older and you just wasted their time...
That's real.
Fucking, yeah. That's basically why Brennan gave me a timeline. She's like, by 25, otherwise I gotta bounce. I gotta figure something out. If we're not gonna commit to it, I gotta go.
Yep. So, that's fair.
Yep.
That's fair.
I beat that by 2 years.
Hey, look at this guy.
See that? I always finish early.
Yo.
Speaking of finishing early, that Super Bowl was done in the first half.
We gotta I don't want to talk about this guy's killing me.
I'm trying to fix this.
Okay, so
I'm trying to fix this.
Work was amusing for me the last like week or so. There was this one story I meant to tell it last week, but I forgot. So like there's this one bartender that I work with. We have a pretty good relationship. She likes to fuck with me, I fuck with her. This one time I left my like iced tea on the side. She like filled it with fucking all these nasty things. I took a nice swig of it and I was like, the fuck is this?
She leave her iced tea to the side, she just gives you a friendly version of a Spike.
The thing was the thing that killed me is like it like was like carbonated now. And my first thought wasn't, oh, this has been fucked with, dump it. That wasn't my first thought. My first thought was, did somehow the ice melt and carbonate this drink? And then I'm like, as I'm talking out loud, she's obviously going to start roasting me for how stupid that was. And I'm like, obviously that can't be a dust. But it already came out of my mouth, so I'm a fucking idiot. But whatever. Anyway.
I don't know what kind of science this is behind here, but I got bubbles.
Anyway, so normally when we start in the morning and like an opening shift together, I'll be like sitting in my car like waiting for them to come, because I'm not trying to start earlier than necessary, right? But like the other day, she like smashed the glass on my car and like the window. I'm like, oh fuck! Like I like scared the shit out of me. I was like, bitch. So the thing is, when she scares me, it was like, ha, got you. Shouldn't have been scary at all. It was broad daylight, and she just tapped the glass lightly, and you freaked out. But it scared you. So I got her back. But like, it's not nearly as like, playful.
Yeah.
It was kind of...
I've definitely seen this on YouTube.
So, it was like at the end of the shift, when the sun is gone and it's dark outside.
Like the night shift? Or...
Yeah, well, it was like 6 o'clock or something like that.
Okay. I thought you meant like the 12 p.m.
No, it wasn't like 12. It was probably like 5 or 6 o'clock, but the sun was down. It was black outside. And she was going to change one of the kegs, and the keg room is like down beside the building, open a door that's locked normally. Sorry, down this like dark, like little small hallway. It's black, pitch black in there, and then you have to like unlock the door. It's fucking pitch black in the dark corner with nobody around, no cameras. And I notice it's her, and I go and stand in the shadows. And I'm standing in the shadows, and she opens the door, and I'm just like, hey, with my Batman voice, and she's like carrying balls. She's like, oh my god. And I'm dying, obviously, but like, I can't even like brag. Like, ha, got you. I can't believe you were scared of a dark man in the shadows in the middle of the night. Like, obviously, she shit herself. She thought
you didn't get pepper spray.
she didn't have bottles in her hand. I probably got maced.
Oh my god!
It was so tough.
What a good idea goes real bad. Like,
I know.
Because like your mindset, I can clearly see it. Like, I'm gonna scare her.
I'm gonna get her back.
There's a dark spot right there. I'm just gonna hide there. There's no way for her to see me, and she's probably gonna be preoccupied. Oh no! I'm too far. I'm committed. I can't do this. Oh man!
By the time I realize I'm standing in the shadows like a predator, I'm like, well, we're here now. If I jump out now, she's scared. So, so that was the thing.
Yeah, that was a close call. There's almost dispatch coming right? Back loose.
Yeah, the job's good. I think one thing that I want to talk about though is people obviously. So working in a restaurant, it's a pretty stressful thing. A lot of people have stressful jobs. And I've noticed one thing that this is more of a serious topic. Is the way people like handle stressful situations, and like I learned a lot of things playing sports, and like especially in university when they like put me through like sports psychology, like that was like a seminar like we had to go to was talk to a sports psychologist, and him like trying to talk to us about like what the difference between like a winning mindset and a losing mindset is, and I kind of see it like all the time, like with like people outside of sports, and it really makes me happy that I played sports because I learned these things, and I can take them in other things. But like every now and then I run into people that they didn't have that experience, so like I don't necessarily know where they would learn it. And so basically, what I'm getting at is, there was a girl that I work with, and she's been kind of worried about failure. You get in trouble when you make a mistake. Your boss comes at you. And you're like, shit, like, I don't want to screw up anymore because I don't want to keep getting in shit for things. And so, she wrote this list, and it was basically a list of things to not do. Do not do these things. When you make a list of do not do these things, it's kind of like do not do point one, and then at the end of that, there's kind of like that imaginary or else. There's like that, I can't do this or I will fail. But when you talk to yourself like that, you're kind of almost manifesting that fear of I'm going to fail anyways, because you're already like preparing your brain to think like that. Whereas the way I was trained, because of this seminar I had to go to, was you don't say I can't do this or I'll lose. It was I need to do this to succeed. You're so classy.
So I can't. He said serious topic. I'm like, I'm gonna try and hold it in, but it ain't working, buddy. We ain't making it this whole conversation. I've seen you go on these tangents. I don't got that kind of time. My belly gonna burst. But continue.
Okay, so what was saying? It's if you talk about it's I can't do this or I'll fail. It's I need to do this to succeed.
Yes.
And so that was like the whole when she showed me the list, that was the biggest takeaway I got from it. It's like every single one of these, she's just setting herself up for the I can't do this or I'll fail ideology.
This is a loser's checklist.
Exactly, and it's like, how do you expect yourself to just dodge all these potholes when you're like, oh, I gotta move, but I can't hit all these potholes without falling in? Well, what if I'm just looking for my next step and I'm just keep running? Then you're not looking for all the holes, you're looking for all the places you can go. Mm-hmm. And so the story that the psychologist gave us when he told us this, he said he used to be a psychologist for the Leafs back in like the early 2000s. And he said the team wasn't very good. We know.
That psychologist, he's might have turned around their physique. I don't know what he turned around.
And so, it makes sense a team like that hired a psychologist because they were trying to figure out why can't we win games.
What is wrong with our entire organization?
And so he said that when he talked to all the team players on the team, most of them, like 90% of them, answered the same way. I'm just worried about doing this. I can't be giving up these plays, or like I have to be doing this, or I'm gonna get beat. Yeah. And they're all talking like that, except for one person. And if you have any hockey knowledge, you already know who I'm talking about. But that one person is saying, I think we can win if I do this, this, and this. I think that as long as I just try really hard in this moment, that'll give us an edge here, and then I think that'll help us build momentum. Like, he's thinking so positively, and ultimately, that's the winner's mentality.
Yeah.
Now, out of those teams, which one of those is probably going to be in the Hall of Fame? It's Matt Sundin. There's only one guy on that team that had any value to his name at the time.
There's only one person on that team that had a name.
Yeah.
There's nobody else on that team can be name dropped.
Right?
They can if you can find their rookie cards, you can sell it back to them for $5. That's about all they're getting. So yes, 100%. Matt Sundin.
And that's the thing. It's like when you think about all the players on the team, everyone's thinking about how they're going to lose, and there's only one person on that team that managed to think about what do I need to do to win.
Yeah.
And it's like especially for me, that was the obvious impact there is now I'm thinking to myself, like, I need to think of how I talk to myself. And in the same way, in that moment when I was talking to her about her list, I could see that she was struggling with that same thing, yet she never played sports, so how would she learn something like that? Like, you don't learn those lessons in school. I don't know where you learn those lessons, because I had my experience, but I can't think of another.
I don't think you do. You learn it from somebody else. Basically, you learn it the way that she probably will now is from somebody that was in sports, or somebody that's been through something like in that scenario.
Done those like self-help books or something like that.
Yeah, that's the only way. Yeah, I guess self-help books and at that point, if you don't already know like kind of what they're going to be talking about, you don't know how to actually implement those properly.
Yeah.
But yeah, sports and hard sports and things that are actually difficult for you.
Now, I know there are other ways to do it, because like obviously, like, my lady's really good about, like, building yourself and personal growth. And, like, since I've been with her, been over 2 years together, that's, like, the number one thing that I've gotten out of this relationship is I've grown emotionally so much more than I ever have at any point in my life. Because one thing that she's done over the years is she's read those books. She's gone to things to try and learn how to be better and build yourself and grow. And now, like, she's, when I'm running into certain things, she's, like, reminding me of these things. So, like, I take what I learned in football, and I take the things that she's reminding me of that she's learned, and I'm sitting here, like, trying to improve the way my brain thinks all the time. Because, like, for me, one of my biggest things was negative self-talk. When I get into some kind of, like, headspace, I'm sitting there, and I'm just like, wow, I can't believe how much my brain is telling me I hate myself right now.
Yeah.
I can't believe how much I'm just... the negativity that my brain thinks. And it's okay. Like, you can sit there and be like, but Dustin, you're so good at this and this and this. And it's like, when I'm in that headspace, I'm like, that's cool, but I know what I'm bad at.
When you destroyed me at Madden last week, I put myself in that's how little it takes. I can be losing a little bit in a video game, and it makes me feel like I'm a failure as a father. That's
We're talking so real right now. This guy's like, yeah, so I was playing Madden with you.
but no, I'm resonating with it, because it is a serious thing where I think we probably subconsciously kind of bonded over this because of the fact that not the video game aspect of it, but the fact that a little thing can trigger us to the point of we can no longer notice anything else. We kind of go, our brains single focus on that, let us know that we fucked that up. Just because we did all these other things right, we fucked that one thing up, so now we failed. Whereas, like, for the most part, we don't have that. We can look at it, take our steps, but the second we actually get a failure, that's where our brains are like, fuck, we fucked something up, we have to figure it out, and until then, we're pissed.
Yeah, I think one thing that I kind of, like, picked up from football is that I don't really have those moments until the situation's kind of passed. So, like, for me, it would be, like, after the football game. Mm-hmm. Because, like, when you're in the thick of something, or in related to sports, when I was in the middle of the football game, it's like I have no memory. And honestly, maybe it's translated to real life a little.
Yeah, when you block with your head, that'll happen.
But, like, I'll literally, like, you know, if I'm dealing with something and something bad happens, it's like, oh man, that sucks. But, like, my brain just, like, flips the page and goes straight to the next moment. And now I'm in the next moment. This is the situation. These are where my cards are dealt. Now I'm just in here to play the next hand. But, like, once that is all done and all those moments are past, I'm like, all right, it's over. Let's reflect on it. When you're in that headspace, it's so hard. And, you know, one time I went to a talk with Hope, and the speaker, he said a lot of things. Not everything was super helpful. But one thing he did say that I took from that was he talked about, I mean, I guess I'll bring it to the cliche metaphor that most people already know, and it's you've got two wolves in your head. One of them's dark, one of them's light. Which one's going to win the fight? Mm-hmm. Well, it's whoever you feed the most. A lot of people have heard that before. It's not super deep or anything, but that idea of if you're going to let the darkness sit at your table and sit at that table and talk to you, the darkness is going to come out. You can't let that darkness sit at the table with you. And it really is, when I sit there and I think about that, it frustrates me because it's so easy to negatively self-talk yourself when you when you fuck up. And it's such a spiral when you take the idea of letting the negative self-talk be your fuck up to encourage more negative self-talk.
Yeah.
And it's like breaking that cycle really, it takes a lot of growth. And that's the thing. It's like, you know, I'm not saying this to, like, tell everybody where you need to fix things. I guess it's just kind of like...
Yeah, we're not finished project. We're fucking not even close.
I just feel like I needed to, like, talk about it because, to me, it's something that I'm actively, like, trying to work on. And, like, you know, sometimes I'm still not getting it. Sometimes I'm still sitting in the darkness thinking to myself all of these things that, like, none of my successes mattered to anything. Like, I'm still thinking all these negative things. But every now and then it's getting more and more consistent where, like, I'm not letting myself get after myself. And I feel like if more people sit there and think about who are you letting sit at your table, maybe you can get out of that hole a little bit faster than you might have before if you weren't thinking about it. So,
yeah. And like you said, most people don't even know that there's two seats. They just, whatever's going through their heads is going there. So just saying this, I'm sure a lot of people will kind of resonate with what you're saying.
Yeah,
it's definitely gonna be helpful.
I think for me too is, like, especially, like, I've talked about my football career and, like, how much it means to me and everything. But the one thing that I always kind of, like, emphasize is that I'm not the biggest, strongest, fastest anything. The only way I was able to compete at the level I competed at for so long, being so undersized, was because I put so much emphasis on all of the mental aspects of the game and like, the mentalities. So, like, when I think of that, and I think of, like, what makes a winner's mentality, everyone obviously goes right to Kobe Bryant, because the Mamba mentality is its own brand now. Like, everyone wants to have the Mamba mentality. Yeah. And then you think about even just this, like, yesterday, who has the greatest mentality in sports? You know, I'd still say Kobe Bryant's up there, but if you're going to think about who's in that ballpark, you're thinking of LeBron James, you're thinking of Tom motherfucking Brady. Mm-hmm. Like, the way that players talk about him and how he is so encouraging, not just like, hey, you're doing a great job, But, like, the way he's able to instill confidence in his team by just having that mindset, always being dialed in and always, like, connecting with his team and getting everybody on the same page. Like, those winner mentalities are something to behold. And that's definitely when you combine, like, all of the ability in the world and all of the hard work and effort, and you add that mentality to it. That's why Tom's playing at 43 and he just won another Super Bowl.
At 43.
That's
43
insane.
is an unreal number to even be saying.
That's absolutely insane.
Starting professional football player. That's incredible.
That being said, I think it might be that time.
You're gonna drop down on your knees and pray to the Brady God? Because that's all I've been hearing for like a month. He's just had Brady dick in his mouth, swishing around, and now that he's won, it's just getting that last little slurping.
What you're saying? I was just trying to like act out what you're talking about.
Get that goat milk.
Oh fuck, that's so gross. But what did I tell you? What did I tell you?
No,
you don't bet against Tom Brady. He wasn't supposed to win.
I yield. Tom Brady fucked him up. And for sure, that conference game, yeah, it might have been all, like, defense took care of it. He had a couple fuck-ups. That championship game, defense did their job. Tom Brady did his job to perfection. That was it. And how Bruce Arians had talked about, he said it a couple of weeks back, like, how do you really unlock Tom Brady? He's like, well, I just let him coach. I let him be the coach. I'll tell him what I want, offensive coordinator, whatever. But he has won 6 Super Bowls. He understands what needs to happen. If he needs to change a play, that's not... If I say no, who the fuck am I? He lets Tom Brady coach. You know, he was probably... The fact that Fournette started getting those runs right off the bat, he's able to open up the play action. He's hitting those screens. Those screens to Gronk, those little... Like, I've never even really seen those. Where you're just... Out of nowhere... Oh, guy's right there. Middle of the field. Anytime they blitz, they're hitting that screen. Getting 10, 15 yards every time. It was a picture-perfect game from the Buccaneers.
Yeah. I was watching, obviously, a lot of people in the sports world talk about this game for the last 2 weeks leading up to it, because it's all everyone's talking about. And one thing that kind of relates to what you just said is, I think it was Malcolm Jenkins. He's a defensive back that's played around the league. He was in, like, New Orleans. He was in Philly. Veteran guy. He's been around the league for quite some time now. Defensive back. I think he's a safety. The question was, you know, who's tougher to play against, Mahomes or Brady? Because he's played against both. And he said the thing with Mahomes is, I'll start with Brady. He said the thing with Brady is you always know what Brady's going to do, because it doesn't matter, you know, what look you give him. You know, what trying to, you know, you're studying Brady, you're thinking, okay, well, I'm going to give him this look, he'll go here. Because in some instances, Brady is predictable. But he's only predictable because he always does what's the most advantageous to what you do. Mm-hmm. So if you give him something, you know he's going to take it, because that thing you're giving him, he knows it's the highest percentage play against what you're looking like. You can guarantee he's going to do that.
Yeah.
Because that's how Tom Brady beats people. He beats them by taking the advantages that they give him. And no one can read and see those advantages better than him. So you can predictably play what he's going to do. Yeah, it's going to be hard to stop, because he's obviously taken, you know, making you work as hard as you possibly can to work to those plays, but 100%. You at least can see it. He said the thing with Mahomes is Mahomes can do anything he wants. He can move around the pocket. He can throw the ball. As you saw in the game, he was horizontal, whips it, 25 yards, hits his guy in the face? That was a dart!
I saw it in real time. I saw it, and I was like, the camera angle was kind of fucked up. It looked like the guy just hit it out of the way. Then when I saw the slow-mo and it just hits him in the face, I'm like, okay, so you just wrecked his highlight. Like, you just wrecked, like, something that could go down in his, like, forever time capsule of one of his best plays ever.
Right? Like, how iconic is that photo going to be of Mahomes horizontal throwing the ball?
Yeah.
Like, that's an iconic photo. Man, and it wasn't even a completed pass.
What was the stat? Like, he ran like 500 yards evading the fucking Buccaneers defensive line.
Bleacher Report reported he ran 500 yards, 497. Like, that's insane.
The man was playing soccer. He had to run up and down the field all damn game.
He literally, that was one of the things I said in the prediction a couple weeks back was looking at the D-line, O-line matchup. This D-line has been hot. They've been rolling. And now you think about, there was 3 offensive linemen out of position for Kansas City. That's a tough pill to swallow. One that had
never started.
Yeah, that was such a tough pill to swallow. And you saw it the week before, or, the game before in the conference final against Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams have been great.
Yeah.
And what happened? They have both their tackles injured, and the Bucs feasted on them.
Yeah.
They ate them alive. Rodgers is getting sacked more than he had all season. Rodgers is running for his goddamn life, and we're like, wow, they got so much pressure on them. Yo, that didn't even compare to what Patrick Mahomes dealt with.
All game.
It literally was like playing Madden on all Madden with a shit team. Snap the ball. Look, nothing. Running backwards to try and hopefully chuck one out of bounds or get back to the line.
And the crazy part was they weren't even blitzing really. They were dropping in coverage, and the line was doing that all on their own. So they were able to still have everybody locked up while having constant pressure on Mahomes. If that's the ideal situation for any team against any quarterback.
Yeah.
Don't put anybody out of position and still have him out of the pocket.
If you can get pressure with 4, you can sit back and play coverage all day.
Yeah.
And that's honestly what they did. They were in cover 2 the whole game, 2 high safeties. They're like, nah, Tyreek Hill is not going over top.
Yeah, they double Tyreek every single play.
They're like, nah, you can just keep chipping it away. And I remember I was texting you at the end. I'm like, okay, so we're in the 4th quarter. Yeah, they're down big time. But what do they think they're doing when they're eating a 5-minute drive to get? They didn't even score. But even if they did, say they scored, you've got 10 minutes left. Your first score took 5. What? You got to move the ball. That can't be your drive. What are you doing? But they just were not in a position to really run the ball all game, and that's the only way to really get someone to stop playing cover 2 is to run the ball, force them to bring guys down.
And they shot themselves in the foot. I think they had 4 or 5 dropped passes, first down.
Guys were dropping on mad balls.
Third and 4th down, and they were dropping perfect throws.
Yep.
And it was especially seeing Kelsey. He had that drop on the right hash. Guys got wrapping up his legs, but you're supposed to be the top receiving tight end in the NFL. The top tight end, just in general in the NFL. You got to make that catch. Your hands are on it. You got to make that catch.
Yeah, he's got to make that play for sure. And that's the thing. Mahomes just wasn't getting help from anybody. He was doing his thing. And listening to everyone talk about it today and this morning, I agree with everything that they're saying. Mahomes didn't play bad. No one's going to say Mahomes played bad, but did he get spanked? Of course. He took a fucking beating, and he even said after the game, yeah, I haven't got a beating like that since high school. What?
He's never been beat like that before.
What did they say at the beginning? They said at the beginning of the game, Mahomes has never lost a game by more than double digits.
More than 8 points.
Oh, more than 8 points.
He's never lost by more than 8 points.
And he took a 20-piece last night.
And he only scored 9.
No touchdowns.
No touchdowns. 3 field goals.
That's insane.
Yeah.
But if you just quick, review of top to bottom, Chiefs defense came out physical. I like Tyrann Mathieu getting physical, getting in their faces, getting chirpy. I love him doing that.
Wrong guy.
I'll admit, he poked the bear. People said it online on Twitter. If you were watching on Twitter, they said you poked the bear, you fucked up. And you see Tom Brady, he runs back over there and gets in his face. Tom's a dog. When he's on the field, he's another person. He's a dog. And when you're as a player, when you see your most let's call it what it is your most fragile player on the team is your quarterback, probably that, and your kicker. You don't touch them. You don't want to hit them. You want to keep them safe.
Yeah.
As someone that is in the trenches all the time, you're taking abuse. When you see that kind of fire in your quarterback, you're like, I'm gonna fight for this guy.
Yeah.
And to see the quarterback in that moment, even if he wasn't, even if it was just an act for the boys to get everyone else into it, show them how serious it was, like, that's the thing. He takes it so seriously. He's such a competitor. Even though Tyrann Mathieu could flip this guy on his head, Tom Brady gets right in his face. He's like, I'm coming at you all game. Get ready. Like, this guy is serious.
Yeah.
And that, to me, that fired me up. But that being said, I like Tyrann Mathieu getting in his face. Because Tyrann Mathieu, if, that's a team that was struggling on defense, they need someone to step up and be a leader. And like I was kind of saying, besides like their D-line guys that weren't really doing much, that's pretty much it. It's those 2 D-line guys, and then it's Tyrann Mathieu. That's your defense. So like, they were trying to be physical, but like they just kept getting shit calls because they were just too overzealous. I think they were just too. We're gonna play physical. That they just like overdid it and they shit the bed. And
it's something
the refs were fucking throwing everything.
Yeah, it's something that happens. Like in Super Bowls, NBA championships, in the big game, the refs they all almost unanimously kind of change how they ref a game. Because in the conference finals, in both sets of games, there's people getting held. There's all these different things, and it's kind of let the boys play. It's football. They're trying to fight for the chance of the Super Bowl. Then comes the Super Bowl. Those same plays, even some that were even less, are getting called immediately. Like that Mike Evans, the pass interference where, like, yeah, you can maybe call it, but they also said it was a catchable ball, which it wasn't catchable by anybody, by any standards. So it was like, there's some, obviously, the refs have to call as close as it can because they're going to get scrutinized one way or another. When you have Tom Brady versus Patrick Mahomes, you're going to get picked apart. So that was a little tough, but that offside lining up for the field goal,
that's so tough because that's high school shit.
That's the worst thing I've ever seen.
4th and 5. Like, what are you doing? Yeah. Like, yeah, I know you want to block the kick. Blocking the kick would have been huge there. But giving up the 3 versus letting them get the free first down. Like, that was the thing. Free first downs, when your penalties result in free first downs, that is so crippling that you could have got the defense off the field, but you had to extend the drive because you kept giving up penalties. It's so bad for the defense. It's so bad for the morale of the guys on the field when they're like, we got him, we gave it for free. Like, it's so tough. And for him to blow that right there, and you give up a touchdown a minute later.
Yeah, you can't give guys like that a second chance.
You never can give Tom Brady a second chance. He makes usually good on the first chance. Like, what are you doing? It really was tough. And you know what? The D-line for the Chiefs, they didn't do much.
No.
That Bucs O-line was balling. They were balling all game.
And that's the thing. They've got that O-line, but they've also got Gronk, who is like a fucking massive man, and he's throwing out. He's another old lineman.
Yeah. And
then once in a while he decides, I'm just gonna step out and catch it, and also be fast enough to run downfield. Yeah. I'm an old lineman with 20 yard. Like I could get 20 yards at any time.
Yeah.
And
he's a man.
And like you said, I like they had the post game because Tom Brady was mic'd up. And he went over to him. He's like, "Oh, I got two tutties. Saved them up all year for you. This is what we do."
Yo, the best Gronk. See, Gronk is fucking lols. I love Gronk. Also, side note, he's the same age as Travis Kelce. So like everyone's like, "Oh, Gronk's like this old guy." He's out there. I don't know why people saying he's old and washed up. Yo, Gronk out there.
Yeah, I think he retired, so it makes it seem like he must have been really old, but he just retired because he was fucked up in the head. Took a couple of years off. Did a whole lot of CBD, and he's like, "Oh, I can see again. Okay, let's get back in there."
So the best thing I saw from Gronk, he actually wasn't even on the screen. So it was those like post-game interviews that they were doing on NFL Network, and they had Mike Evans come up, and they were saying like, "Mike, you only caught one pass. What happened?" He's like, "I don't care. I just won the Super Bowl. I don't care." Like, and they were saying it online, like. The most, like, I think Bruce Arians says he's the most unselfish superstar in the NFL. He did not give a rat's ass that he did not get the ball that much this game because he just won a Super Bowl. And honestly, like 3 out of his first 5 seasons, this guy was last place in the NFL.
Yeah.
He does not care. He got a chance to be a champion, and he took it gracefully. But anyways, the story I was going to tell is they were doing his interview, and you hear Gronk is like in the room next to him, but like not on camera. He's like, "Yo, Mike, what's good?" And he's like, "Hey, man, hey, Robbie." And he's like, "Yo, you trying to turn up or what?" Like, he's like so hyped. He's just,
the biggest frat boy.
Mike's just man. Like, "Yeah, man." He's like, "I don't know how to do this yet. You've been doing this a lot, but like, I don't know how to win yet." And he's like, "Yeah, we're gonna turn up. Let's go." This Gronk's just killing me in the background. Right. He's like trying to do the interview, but he just can't stop talking to Gronk. That's so good.
Getting that same exchange between Tom Brady and Gronk. Like, you hear Tom Brady start talking and acting like frat boy, like getting the same noises, and I'm like, man, he's got a good image because you don't really see that side, but he's clearly got that. But then also, speaking of the mic'd up, your boy Tyrann Mathieu, he had tweeted out after the game. Because of all the like him talking shit and whatever, he tweeted out saying, "Well, Tom said some things that I can't say on here and blah blah blah." And then like an hour or two later, when it came out that Tom was mic'd up, he deleted it because he clearly didn't say shit because it would have been picked up on the mic, and he was trying to. Oh no, it's not me. It was like he was kind of being a douche or whatever. Yeah.
Apparently, Tom Brady apologized though. That's what the big headline was today. Everybody
well, yeah, he's always gonna apologize after because he fucking won. Like
yeah, he doesn't care.
That's more of an insult. Like, to me, if you're gonna talk shit to me and then after you beat me, be like, "Hey man, my bad."
You know how it is. It's just like, we're just competitive.
Yeah,
you know.
I'm not a mean guy. We got a little heated up. It's like,
yourself.
Shut the fuck up. You meant every word you said, and you don't mean a single word you're saying now.
And you're only here to remind me that you won.
Yeah, you would not be here if we won this game. You wouldn't be coming over like, "Oh, my bad for saying that to you."
Yeah, you would not be here right now.
I agree with that. That's where like Tom Brady in my head, he's the best villain because he looks like he's not. He's the Prince Charming that will like behind the scenes does all the dirty shit to get to the top, but in front of the camera he looks like the pretty boy nice guy, and I think that's why he's one of my favorites now.
Yeah, I was listening to Stephen A. Smith talk about a story of Tom Brady, and I think it was like a Tom Brady documentary they put out not too long ago, like one of his more recent ones. And he said that one moment in the documentary that was impactful for him was they had Giselle on the screen, and she said that, you know, when they're home, like, and you think about, like, you know, what really motivates him, like, what's he still playing for? She's like, he just says that he just wants his respect. And like Stephen A's point is kind of like, that's just what she's telling you. Imagine what he's saying behind closed doors if that's what she's saying. Think of how much drive he has, and it's all because he just wants some goddamn respect. Yeah. How do you have 6 titles and you're still got the mentality that I just want my fucking respect? That's insane.
That's the Mamba mentality, the Michael Jordan.
That's that mentality.
It's like everything's personal. It's like, oh, you won 6 rings, but it's because of the system. It's because of Bill. Bill's the reason that you got 6 rings. It's not you. You're there. He just puts guys in there. You do the same throw over. It's not you. So he's like, okay, well, let's put this to the test. Let's see what Bill does when I'm not there. Let's see what I do without Bill. Numbers speak for themselves.
What did LeBron James say when he won his last title with LA? I want my goddamn respect to him.
That's like, what I'm saying.
For real though, like these guys, it's like everyone's like, you know, loves to like put them up on the GOAT pedestal, but at the same time, they love even more to just discount them as if they're not great. Yeah. And it's like, what are you talking about? Take this blasphemy somewhere else. Like, I disrespected LeBron in your eyes by saying he was the number 2 all time, but I'm still saying he's number 2 all time. Like, I'm not saying he's bad. I like LeBron. Like, LeBron's nasty. And so one of my boys is trying to say, like, oh, Dustin hates LeBron. Like, what do you mean?
No, if you compare it to what I think of LeBron, it sounds like you hate him, but it's not a hate. It's just that you put Jordan above because he's 6-0. So that's fair enough. Everybody can have that argument.
It's not the only reason.
It's incorrect.
Whatever. It's not the only reason, but whatever.
It's the only reason that actually stacks up. But it's all good. We'll keep going. Yeah, we can't go back into this argument because that just ruins the podcast.
You guys are sitting here.
We can do this all day.
You guys, if you heard the first time, you sat through the first time, that's cool. That's A, not the first time we've had any of those talks. Nope. And B, not even the last time we talked about it just between ourselves. Like, we'll still argue about this on our own for an hour. We only put it online once, though. Like, this has happened so many times.
Yesterday, I think we argued on 4 different group chats. So, the fact that we get along like this is because this is what we do. We talk to each other. We just finally decided, hey, let's try and, show other people our insanity. Let's see if other people get it.
We want other people to take our side so bad that we'll argue with each other, but we'll be arguing with each other in a group chat in front of these group of friends, and arguing in another group chat in front of these group of friends, and then a third one, and we're hoping to see who takes our side in each one. Meanwhile, we're struggling to copy and paste the point we just made in each one of these things, and sometimes getting lost. I'm like, I've definitely responded to an argument you said in A into B, and then it makes no sense in B, and then you chirp what I say in B, and I'm coming at you in C, and I'm just like, what's going on?
Sometimes I just switch it up to say one argument, and because I know I have 3 different points, but I can't put them all into one paragraph, so I just switch it up. But the idea of this is that sports commands our entire mentality. So especially when we're talking about ranking the top guys, especially there's I think Jameel Hill, she tweeted out that Tom Brady's great and everything, but I can't look at him as the greatest athlete because that person should be the best physical specimen in the sport. And in that retrospect, I can kind of see it, but it's different in football because the quarterback is playing chess. To play chess, it doesn't matter what size you are. It matters what's in your brain and how you can look at the next phase. How you can look at the defense, make your changes, whatever move they do, you counteract it. So quarterback, it doesn't matter the physical part because you could easily look at Lamar Jackson. He's the most physically one of the best or one of the most physically capable quarterbacks probably of all time because of how fast he can be and how big he is. You can't put him as a GOAT yet. He's just physically bigger than people. So that's kind of a stupid argument I saw from her. But then
I think that also would then open the door up for people that don't even play American sports. What about people that are in the CrossFit games that have that level of speed, endurance, cardio, and strength that's just unmatched in normal sports? They might not be football players, but they might be faster, stronger, and have better cardio than some of them. Yeah. They also might be 5'6", so it doesn't matter. But I think we start talking about who's the most athletic.
That's a different conversation. There's no greatest of all time athlete.
No,
you're talking about physical people. That's it.
Yeah, and
it's no longer the same conversation.
And because there's such a broad spectrum of skills you need to do different things, you can't say Tom Brady's more athletic than LeBron James. Look at LeBron James, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
But at the same time, just because LeBron James is LeBron James, that doesn't mean he's going to beat Michael Phelps in the water. It doesn't matter. Not to make it a black guy can't swim joke, but
only one of us went there. I'm glad you said it. Oh, okay, so we're going to keep this going here, but we have no idea where it stopped. We just decided we're not going to record for a minute here. So
I don't know what happened there. It just stopped recording.
So there's a chance you get a little bit of video with just no audio. Don't know if you want that or not. I guess we might have to blend.
We'll see what the edit looks like.
But this is a good experiment. Now we know.
Maybe we should just wrap it up.
Yeah, so we have no idea where we ended, but we're here.
Technical difficulties, but that's just the way she goes sometimes.
And I keep forgetting to say this at the beginning, but comment, subscribe. We're on Spotify for your audio, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and then YouTube. We got our videos going.
Yo, check me out on TikTok.
Oh yeah. I forgot. We're on the TikTok. We're on all social media. Talk our way out. And then obviously follow me at Kylerto.
Man's trying to get that clout.
I'm trying to get it. It doesn't matter. But we've been looking at the numbers. We getting more page likes and everything like that. So we just want to kind of keep everybody listening, seeing what we're doing. Comment on some of our shit just to let us know, because clearly we can't be correct on everything we're saying. We don't believe you, but we'd like to know if you have a different opinion. So let us know.
Jeez.
But yeah.
Well, that's all she wrote for today, guys. Thanks a lot. Peace.
Out.